This presentation will be on why gun control laws have not been put into place in the United States. The United States has the top death rates using firearms out of all developed countries and more massacres than any other country as well. And here's why nothing happens. There are many debates whether gun control should be put into place in the United States. Many disagree that guns will make our country safer, and others believe that it is the only thing left to do. And there are many reasons as to why it is not happening. Let's start on the views of guns currently in the United States. Democrats see what happens when guns are used for violence, like the Las Vegas shooting, and simply don't understand why Republicans aren't making a change. Republicans view Democrats as only thinking about the guns and not the person using the gun. They also don't like the Democrats are using these tragedies to take away a constitutional freedom. Since Trump is now president, there is a higher likelihood that changes will not occur, especially since Congress is also made up of mostly Republicans. Another thing to think about is the fact that in 2016, while Obama was president, the massacre in Connecticut occurred, killing 20 first graders, yet no action was urged by Congress. So do people really think that a Las Vegas shooting, killing 58 people, will change things? The reason gun control isn't happening is because of Republicans, and also the NRA supporting them. The NRA is the National Rifle Association, which consists of 5 million members and is considered one of the most influential groups in politics. It is hard to propose a law to strengthen when there are about 5 million members disagreeing with you and associating themselves with Republicans. According to BBC News, the NRA spent $4 million on lobbying, which is a form of advocacy with the intention of influencing decisions made by the government, and also direct contributions to Republicans. More than $50 million were given for policy advocacy, and also $30 million to help elect Donald Trump as president. An overall budget of $250 million is spent annually, which is used for educational programs, gun facilities, for example, membership events, sponsorships, legal advocacy, and related efforts. They are encouraging more and more people to believe that gun control is not needed in the United States, when it is actually the most necessary law change needed at this moment because of the mass shootings in the past couple of years. People in America are being brainwashed by this association, making people believe they need guns to protect themselves. A Washington Post ABC News poll showed that 54% of people polled in support for legally carrying guns for self-defense, and 42% said they opposed it. Men especially favored, 61% to be exact, and 48% of women. A Gallup poll in 2015 also showed that 56% of people felt safer with more concealed weapons, while 41% thought they'd feel less safe. To add on to that, in June 2016, a Quinnipiac University poll asked whether people supported a ban on semi-automatic rifles. Surprisingly, about 6 in 10 Americans, which is 59%, supported it, including 40% of Republicans. But when the pollster asked whether such a ban would be effective in reducing gun violence, Americans actually disagreed, 47 to 49%, and 24% of Republicans thought it would be effective, while 70% said it wouldn't reduce gun violence. Although most Republicans and Americans don't believe that it will reduce gun violence, there has been plenty of evidence before in other developed countries that have restricted gun laws and resulted in safer countries. Canada and Australia, for example, have spurred gun laws after devastating incidents. Canada spurred gun laws when a disgruntled student walked into a Montreal engineering school and killed 14 students and injured over a dozen others with a semi-automatic rifle. This incident strengthened gun laws, which included the 1995 Firearms Act, which required owner licensing and the registration of all long guns, which included rifles and shotguns, while banning more than half of all registered guns in the country. Australia spurred gun laws after a young man killed 35 people and wounded 23 others using a semi-automatic rifle. In less than 2 weeks, the national government pushed through changes in the country's gun laws, which regulated firearms. They prohibited all but automatic and semi-automatic assault rifles, reinforced licensing and ownership rules, and a buyback program that took about 650,000 assault weapons out of public circulation. Ever since Australia spurred these gun laws, there hasn't been a mass homicide since, and in Canada, there have also been dramatic changes in violence caused by guns. Statistics prove that those countries with more restricted gun laws result in less violence. Now it is time for the United States to spur gun control laws and potentially save more lives in this country.